61 companies across different sectors were involved in a 6-month pilot scheme in the UK. This was to try out a new work model, that of a 4-day work week. One where employees work for 4 days a week as opposed to the standard 5 days, of course. And this could mean reduced work hours or a compressed week where employees are expected to put in more hours but over a span of 4 days. As per the findings, this new model has proven to be a success, with the majority of the companies that were a part of the trial saying that they will continue with the 4-day workweek schedule. To discuss the benefits and understand how effective this new model truly is, we're now being joined by Jim Rogers, investor and financial commentator from Singapore. We're also being joined by Seth Schachner, managing director at Stratamericas, joining us from LA. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning. Good evening.
Good to be here.
Now, Jim, coming to you first, trials in the UK show that an overwhelming majority have chosen to continue with this new model. How do you assess this?
Well, if that's what they've decided, that's all I need to know. It seems to work. The employers like it, and the employees like it. I'm a little skeptical, but don't listen to me, because it is working. They have experimented, and it works.
All right, you say you're a little skeptical. Seth, coming to you, how do you feel about this?
I'm actually, guardedly optimistic about it. I mean, I think there have been some just giant macro changes, obviously, over the last 3 or 5 years, not only with the pandemic, but with remote working, which, was much more common during the pandemic. But I think to some degree, just with, work for hire, the workforce already existed. So, I kind of look at it as a bit of a natural evolution, if you will, and trying to accommodate, more of the modern workforce's style. So I come out, I think along with a lot of the survey participants, kind of into the idea. So optimistic about it.
Right, absolutely. In fact, we will come to that in just a second. Jim, coming to you now. Of course, it's very important to note here that a 4-day work week doesn't always imply reduced hours of work. In some cases, employees are expected to put in the same number of hours at work over the course of 4 days. Do you reckon that this could prove to be counterproductive?
Well, listen, ambitious people, men or women, whoever, are going to put in more time no matter what. So you're probably helping them a lot. And if it works for the companies, if they're getting the same productivity and the same results, it's brilliant. As I say, I'm skeptical that it'll work. I'm skeptical that human nature would do that. But what do I know? It's working.
Right. I mean, you said that you're skeptical. Why is that?
Well, I'm skeptical that they will get as much work out of people in 4 days as they're getting in 5 or 6 or whatever people are working now. But you say, or the studies say, it works. They're getting productivity, and they say that the productivity has gone up. That's wonderful. I mean, if I were doing that, and, I were an ambitious young man, I would certainly work as much, if not more, whether it's 4 days, 5 days. I used to work all the time. 6 days was not enough for me, but not everybody's crazy like I am, or like I was.
All right. Well, Seth, what do you feel about that?
Well, I mean, I think that there has been, a ton of productivity gains in the workforce just because of technology and computers, basically. So, I mean, if one agrees with the premise that it may take less time and inputs because there's remote working or cloud-based working, that it makes sense to me, actually, and I think it could be a value add. It's just, again, a part of the natural way work has evolved over the years. So yeah, that would be my thought on it.
Right, absolutely. In fact, I was just going to come to this. The pandemic brought in a lot of changes. People are demanding flexible hours, hybrid work. In light of that, how effective do you think this new model will prove to be?
Well, the technology has certainly changed dramatically, and that helps this sort of thing, because then people can work anywhere, anytime. And if you're getting the same productivity because of the technology, it's going to help the world. It's going to help everybody. As I say, I'm just skeptical that human beings are going to work as much as they did before if they don't have to, but the studies show I'm wrong.
All right. Well, Seth, do you feel reduced working hours can ensure better productivity while also maintaining quality of work?
So like we're speaking really generally here, and I'm hearing Jim as well. I mean, I think that let's just state the obvious. There's some professions where this probably doesn't apply to, right? So I don't think every specific line of work necessarily charts against these tests that are out there, basically. So, and I don't want to go through each profession. So I think in some cases it actually, you need people either on the job or in the office, but there are other cases where it would work, and it's already been happening as it is. So should be a value add.
Right, absolutely. Now, Jim, coming back to you, now there are various studies that say that a 4-day work week can also ensure better employee well-being. In fact, one study says that this new model can also slash disease risk. What's your take on that?
Well, if the studies show that I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It's not the first time I've been wrong in my life.
All right.
I'm very happy to hear it. It will be good for the companies. It will be good for the economy. And it will be good for the world. I don't mind being wrong. I've been wrong many times.
Right, absolutely. Now, Seth, as the workforce evolves, do you see this model becoming a norm going forward? What do you think are some of the challenges that need to be dealt with?
Look, I think from what I've been able to see from the tests, it's just been in the UK. I think there's been tests all over the globe, Australia. I've seen some in the US as well. And a lot of these, to be fair, smaller companies, not big ones. It's been very positive. And I mean, employees probably have a vested interest in saying this, but it definitely sounds like it's something that could continue. Larger companies, if you will, have always had their own policies on where you're going to work, how much time there is. I want to say Google's had something called private time for a long time, where 20% of your time is just devoted to your own projects, whether or not that's still in existence. So I'd expect you'd see, a mix of things. Here in the States, a lot of the newest opportunities that I see are what you just call hybrid locations. So I don't know if it's required, but you need to be in the office for, say, 3 days of the week, and 2 days of the week you don't have to be. And so I kind of expect to see more of a mix of that type of approach. But, I think, look, there's some fields. I work, in the entertainment industry. It's a people business. It's a creative business. And there's aspects of the function that you need to be around people, basically. And so I don't think it's going to apply across the board everywhere. And I still see, for example, here where I'm based in Los Angeles, not just big tech titans moving in, but ecosystems and real estate and all sorts of things being built around those in-place, offices that are coming up. So, I don't think it's going to be the end of everything, but I do think the 4-day work week is something that kind of organically fits into the new working model.
All right. Well, Jim, coming to you now, which are some of the sectors that you think will benefit the most from this?
Well, I don't think surgeons are going to benefit at all from this, because you've got to be there if you're a surgeon. But other things, we were just discussing research, anything to do with research, anything to do with sales, all of these things can be compressed into fewer days very easily. And if it gives people more energy and therefore more productivity, it's great. When we went to a 5-day work week, many people said it would be terrible. It would ruin companies. It would ruin the economy. It didn't. 5-day work weeks are very common now. So here I am. I'm wrong, and it's happening again, according to the studies.
All right. Well, you've made your position very clear on this. I just want to ask you, what are some of the other changes that we can expect in the workplace going forward that are better aligned with the goals of an evolving workforce?
Well, if you're asking me, the main thing is that the epidemic, the virus, forced us all to work more from home, to work more over the computer. You and I are speaking over the computer right now. This would not have happened 15 or 20 years ago. We all know that, whether it's education or many other things, sales meetings. This is all happening now. It was forced on us. It would have happened eventually, but now we all know, we accept it, and so it's going to change. It is changing many of our lives, just as the 5-day work week changed many lives.
Right, absolutely. Seth, same question to you.
Well, and I don't know if this is purely a function of technology. I hope it isn't, actually, but I think, at least here in the States, there's much more of an emphasis and focus around diversity and inclusiveness in the workplace, and you're seeing everything from practices being put in place to officers, and I think that's a big focus. And I don't know if this is going to help or change it or just ride alongside of it, but it's definitely a part of it. The thing that's probably a little bit more closely related is just the idea of health and wellness. And I think from what I've seen from some of these studies, you're starting to see employees feel better, they're in better shape, they're gaining weight, and they're losing weight, excuse me, and they're more effective and productive. So I think the kind of health and wellness aspects of the workplace and how one relates to one's employment is probably a big part of this. And I think this idea of the 4-day work week is kind of in balance with that, basically.
Well, Jim Rogers and Seth Schachner, thank you so much for joining us and for your insights on this.
Great to be here. Great to connect with you as well, Jim. Great to see you.